And we were in the studio this morning with Will Ferguson from Handel. Did you say Handel?
Handel.
Handel.
Correct.
Okay. Want to make sure we get the right one.
Right, we don't want to sound like idiots.
No, not at all.
Because that never happens.
We could have asked that before we started.
We could have.
Handel's Semele.
Correct.
Oh, hey,
good job.
Got
Two.
one.
All right. Hey, welcome back to Omaha.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Yeah, so you've sung at the Hall before.
Yes, I have. I was here for my first time in Omaha was in 2007 with Wakanda's Dream, which was a world premiere. Went really well, and I've been back for 2 operas since, and I'm thrilled to be back for Semele.
Yeah, you just can't quit Omaha, can you?
No, you can't.
How do you get a name like Jupiter?
Well, when you're king of the gods, it kind of comes with the character.
Wow.
That's your role, king of the
Right,
gods?
yes.
Wow,
And he
that's
says
something.
it with a smile, too.
Ah.
That's right. I don't often get to be the king. So.
No.
Or a god, so to have both in one role is amazing.
That's not bad. Tell us a little bit about Semele.
Semele is a mythological story that Handel set to music. It's really gorgeous. Semele is immortal, and she's in love with Jupiter, who is me, the king of the gods. And so it kind of plays between this world of mortality and immortality and her desire to be one of the immortals. It's really gorgeous story. It's really funny, but it's also dark and very moving. It's fantastic.
You sold it on us right away.
Yeah, absolutely.
So also you will both had opening night. There you
Yeah.
go.
Is it true that it's sung in English?
It is. It was written in English, and Handel spent a lot. He was German-born, but he spent a lot of time living in London, and so he wrote some of his most famous works when he was living there. Messiah, for example, was one of the London oratorios, and this piece wasn't originally written as an opera. It wasn't written to be staged. It was written more to be performed in front of an orchestra on stage, like you would go and hear Omaha Symphony perform at the Holland. That was how this piece was originally intended, but what Opera Omaha has done is taken that piece and put beautiful sets and costumes with it, brought in a very talented director to stage it all and give it that extra dramatic intensity, which is awesome. It really works well. Yeah.
Now, when you're singing in English, are there challenges? Because usually it's Italian, right? And if you mess up, who's going to know? We'll be like, yeah, whatever, sounds good to me.
It definitely helps to speak the language in which you sing. I feel like
I would think.
Oftentimes, we're asked to sing. I speak French and Italian pretty well, so those languages I feel very comfortable singing in. If I were to sing in Russian or something, that's a different story, because then you're just sort of memorizing sounds. English, to sing in the vernacular is fantastic. To be able to sing in the language of the audience that you're singing to makes a huge difference. There's something that you get when you're hearing the songs or hearing the words in your own language as an audience member that makes you connect so much more to the piece. It doesn't take anything away from beautiful Puccini or Massenet or any of those other composers, but Handel really sets this English text beautifully, and it's florid, it's virtuosic, and it's stunning, stunning music. It's probably it's the kind of piece that you would go to and you think, oh gosh, I never realized that piece was written by Handel, let alone came from Semele. Lots of familiar music that I think a lot of people know, either through commercials or pop culture, really got their start from Handel's Semele.
Now, you talked about a love story.
Yes.
And it seems like most operas have a love story.
Right.
Either good or bad, you know, tragic or whatever. Tell us a little bit about the love story here.
So one of the great things I love about Handel is that you go to see a Puccini opera. I don't know very many people who, stab themselves or go through a period of a day and like 4 people have died. It's from completely different circumstances. Handel is more, to me, it seems a little bit more authentic. It's more about people sort of and their relationships with each other, the way they sort of connive or cajole or flirt or seduce or lie to or get jealous. And so where you have is Jupiter and Juno, this husband and wife team of the gods who boss everyone around. Juno, Jupiter's wife, is extremely upset with Jupiter because he has fallen in love outside of their marriage with a mortal named Semele. And so there's the dynamic between the two of them, also the dynamic between Jupiter and Semele, and also Semele and her father. And Semele is engaged to be married. When the opera opens, we see her marrying another mortal named Athamas. And so the two of them are at their wedding, but she's having second thoughts. And,
of course.
Right, as is sometimes the
case.
Third
thoughts, fourth thoughts.
Right. And so she goes off to the heavens to be with Jupiter, and the story unfolds from there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's find a little bit about Will the person.
Yes.
Where are you from?
I'm from Richmond, Virginia, originally. I grew up there, and then I went to school in New York. I moved to New York to go to school, and I've been there ever since. So,
where about in New York? In the city?
Yes,
Okay.
in New York City. I went to Juilliard. I did my undergrad and my master's there. And New York, for opera, for classical music in this country, New York is really one of the places you want to be. And so I loved it there. I had lots of friends and teachers who lived there and wanted to continue being a part of that community. So
I asked my 7-year-old girl who's been to the opera with me, I said, I get to interview an opera singer today. What should I ask him? And she said, ask him how he got to be so good. So what gets you here to this point? Just lots of performances? Or
I think, yes. I think, having... studying a lot, for sure, taking a lot of lessons. I started playing piano when I was a kid, and always loved performing. And I remember when I was about 12 years old, I went to my first opera. Up until that point, I had studied piano, and I'd always sung with choirs in school and that sort of thing. And I loved performing, but I'd never seen something where the dramatic arts, the musical arts, vocal performance, along with beautiful sets and costumes, all of these different sister arts came together to form one complete experience, one grand artistic expression. And I think that was the thing that really kept me on the edge of my seat for the entire performance. And I loved it. And from then on, I just wanted to go to the opera more. I wanted to listen to music more. And I think that nurtured a love of singing in me, and that certainly has a lot to do with my commitment and sort of resilience in keeping on singing. Any life as an artist is a difficult life, but having that love, knowing why you do it, definitely helps you to keep going. So,
what do you do in your spare time?
I really love wine, actually.
Oh, boy, here we go. Oh, boy, this is going to be a 12-day conversation between you two. Boy.
Yeah, no, when I actually, a few years ago, I got my sommelier certification. And,
wow.
I find a lot of the really great things about singing I get from wine as well. When I talk about wine, I talk about the notes of the wine or its color, and I use a lot of the same words I use to describe singing. And so, or the way that music makes me feel is very similar to the way that wine can make me feel. You can get high or drunk or excited off wine, and I feel the same way from music. So.
Hence why you drink off-key wine. That makes sense.
Yes, exactly.
Just teasing.
But yeah, no, it's really great. I like the things that sort of affect us as humans or touch us in ways that words don't always express. The things that we find difficult to articulate that are experiential in our life. Those are the things that I think I want to learn more about, whether it's music. You can't really talk about music. You can't explain music. And it's really hard to talk about wine. It's all so subjective, just like music and performance. It's special, I think.
Yeah, well, I think you're articulating very well. I'm totally on board. Yeah.
Do you find yourself branching out from opera, or is that your line? Do you stay right in that
I would say about half of what I do is opera, but I also do concerts with orchestra, and I love doing recitals where it's me and a pianist or me and a guitarist on stage alone.
Wow.
Giving lots of different songs to an audience. I mean, if opera is the steak dinner that you want sometimes, I feel like a recital is like going to a tapas bar.
So what kind of songs would you sing during a recital? What's in your repertoire?
Oh, gosh. I love singing Schubert. I love singing Schumann. I love singing American music. I think as an American singer, it's really important. And like we were talking earlier, I think having songs in the vernacular, having songs in English that connect with the audience that you're singing to makes a big difference. So I always try and seek out those kinds of pieces for my recitals. But I love French music. The songs that move me, if I really love them and I love to sing them, I think an audience is going to love to hear them. So that's usually where I go from.
Do you have a particular warm-up that you like to use?
I do, actually. I have a very specific warm-up that I use every day before I sing. That is I take about 30 minutes. I go through certain exercises. It's like a gymnast would stretch before doing flips and somersaults. I have a very specific regimen of scales, trills, and different warm-ups that I use to get my voice ready to sing. Yeah.
And that's something.
That's the basis of my technique.
Do you have to watch what you eat?
Sometimes. I mean, obviously wine's not a problem. So we, but I try to, especially before performances, the day of a performance, I'll probably won't have any ice cream or anything that's going to coat my throat like that, or anything that has a lot of acid, like a big like spaghetti and red sauce or something like that. I find that anything with a lot of that gastric acid, that creates a lot of gastric acid, is hard for me. But otherwise, I've reached sort of a level where I feel like I sing well most of the time. So it's just kind of, I live my life, and I can't be a slave to everything else that's going on. So I just stay focused on that.
I don't know if you can tell us this. Do you live through Semele?
I do live through Semele.
Okay, good.
Not everyone does, though. I'm sorry, Chris. I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's a tough slog, and, not everyone makes it out.
All right. Well, we can't wait to see you. This is going to be fun.
Thanks.
Yeah, and we encourage anybody to stop by and get tickets, too.
Yeah, your build here in the wording is a dangerous god. It might be death at his hand, even.
That's true.
Tickets are available for Friday and Sunday's performance. If you would like to go, ticketomaha.com.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Will.
Great. Thank you. Great to be here. Appreciate it, guys.